is holding constitutional talks with the British government in Malta as from Monday 30th January. The talks follow the acceptance by the Patriotic Front of Dr. Owen's invitation to pursue serious discussions leading to a just settlement. In accepting the invitation, the Patriotic Front is fully cognizant of the following fundamental requirements which accompany any just settlement. A, that the only valid constitutional forum capable of yielding a valid and genuine result, which will be respectable to and binding upon us and the struggling masses of Zimbabwe, is that constituted of Britain as the colonial power, as a colonial and decolonizing power on one hand, and the Patriotic Front as the only liberation movement and authentic representative of the people of Zimbabwe on the other. B, that the decolonization process in seizing the people of Zimbabwe of power must preliminarily aim at, and here we are happy to note that Britain, working in conjunction with the United States, is unequivocally committed to the outright removal of Ian Smith. His regime and his complete apparatus, and thus cleanse the road in preparation for a new administration in which the broad masses of Zimbabwe have full confidence. C, that the primary objective in the decolonization process must be the creation of a sovereign and independent state of Zimbabwe, whose government shall operate in complete freedom from any external controls, direct or indirect. In this respect, we hope Britain will not try to build into our independence constitution unrealistic and protect her own economic interests, or retain the racial characteristics of the present Rhodesian society, or save the exploitative economic system built on selfish individualism. D, that the basis of the people's power in an independent Zimbabwe does not derive merely from their ability to fully participate politically in the activities of the country, but also from the existence of an army, police force, and air force of their own, which in turn derive from the liberation forces that will have fought for their independence. The foregoing principles naturally completely invalidate the internal talks currently taking place in Salisbury. Accordingly, thank you. I'll be there on the 30th.
Are you going via Lagos?
Lagos? That's a long way to get to Malta, isn't it? I don't know. Depends entirely. But we did have an invitation from the head of state of Nigeria to get there. But the difficulty we have now is whether we can get to Lagos and at the same time get to Malta in good time. But we are still battling with the question, and if we can, we'll get to Lagos first. But otherwise, we might get there after.
Sorry. Is this an invitation, a joint invitation to you and
Yes, sir, in Copenhagen. Wow.
And what do you hope will come out of the talks in Malta?
In Malta, I don't know. It depends entirely on the preparedness of the British to act in a more serious manner than they have done before. If they're serious, then something will result from the discussions. But it would appear that Dr. Owen would like the meeting to last only 3 days or so, and I take it he would like us to arrange for another meeting thereafter. So it depends entirely on how much Britain is prepared to decolonize. If they are prepared to go the full length and assure us that the process which we envisage is going to be adhered to, fine, we will reach some agreement. But there are quite lots of things we must discuss, and where agreement must be reached. We hold that the transitional period is a very important period, and the colonial power must demonstrate before that independence comes that she is prepared, in fact, to ensure that power passes on to the people. In other words, the power structure of the transition period must be one in which the people's representatives are dominant, while the colonial power plays only a nominal role. This is our view. We still hold onto it. Then also, it must be considered by Britain that alongside the process to political power, there has to be an equal transference of military power to the people. In other words, our army must be placed in a position of control, and Smith's forces must be dismantled completely.
But this does not include the police force?
The police force as well. It's a paramilitary force. We're fighting it every day, and we don't distinguish between it and the other forces in any way.
So you are against then several of the main points of the